Hello everyone, this is Anna from Our Paper Paradise, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cross. Now this that I have here made is in the silver paper. I'm going to be showing you how to make it in the gold shade, but the process is the same for all of them. In your kit, you'll have a set of instructions. You'll have a little pack with the strips, and you'll have this grid that we are going to use to assemble the cross so that it's straight and centered and all that. On top of that, you will also need a slotted quilling tool, some glue. I use Elmer's glue all. You'll need some pins, and you'll need something to put on the back of this so you can pin the pieces to it. It can be corkboard, it can be poster board, something that you can use as a backing for the pins to go into. So this is a very basic piece. You'll notice you have one strip that is smaller than all the rest. We're going to start with that one. How we start is we slide the paper into the slot in the quilling tool. We bring the quilling tool all the way to the end, and then we start rolling. You can roll away from you or towards you. It doesn't matter to the end product. It's whatever is easier for you. You see I'm holding the strip like this, and this finger is just supporting as I roll. We roll all the way to the end. Once we reach the end, we put a little bit of glue on the tab there. Close it. Now, with this sort of paper, you want to hold it for a few seconds because it's harder to for the glue to stick. The metallic paper is always harder to work with. So it's glued, you take it off, and you have a tiny tight coil. Set it aside. Be careful, for it's very small, and if it rolls away, you'll never find it again. Next step, we are going to do loose coils. In your kit, you'll also have a template coil already made. You're going to use this to make the other coils all the same size. So we slide the strip into the quilling tool, bring it all the way to the end. Oops. And start rolling. Roll all the way to the end. However, this time you will not glue it down. You'll take it off. And now we're going to use this guy and put this guy on top and let it open until it's the same size. Now that it's the same size, we're going to glue the end there. Again, you are going to have to hold it for a little bit to make sure it's sticking. We are going to repeat this same process for all the other strips in your kit. So I'm going to speed through this and we'll talk at the end. Now I want to show you something that might happen to you when you're taking this off. You might let it go and it opens more than you want it to. So what you're going to do is just hold the center and pull the tab a little bit, and then roll the rest with your fingers. And it's tight again. And now you can let it expand to the right size. Okay. We have all the shapes, all the little coils done. Now we have to shape them like we see there. We are going to take 8 of them aside, and these will be a different shape than the rest. So to start, we are going to hold the center of the coil, and I'm not sure if you can see, but there's the line where the coil ends, the little seam. And I always try to put that at the edge of a shape. So to get that shape, this is a teardrop shape. We are going to hold the edge or the center and then pinch one of the sides. You get a teardrop. I'm gonna do it using the other hand to do it. So hold the center, pinch the side. And we're going to do it for all 8 of these little guys. As you can see, that seam is not perfectly lined up with the edge, but that's good enough because this is going to be hidden. Next up, we are going to shape the rest of these guys into this shape. This is called an eye shape. And to do that, what we have to do is pinch both sides. And you probably want to start with pinching both sides at the same time because that helps you keep a more symmetrical shape than pinching one side and then pinching the other. Just repeat for all of the rest of them. I tend to like it better to pinch one side and then the other. That's just how I started doing it and how I'm practiced doing it. But like I said, that makes it a little harder to get it aligned. Now that we're done shaping all the coils, we can start assembling them. And that's where your corkboard and your grid template come in handy. Oops. Be careful not to spread all your pins around while you're doing this. So we're going to take one pin. We're going to take our little tight coil. There's a little hole there, so the pin goes right through. And then we're going to pin it right in the center of this grid. Now, we are going to use these red lines as guidelines to place the other shapes around it. We want eye shapes aligned with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. And I'm doing the lining up of the seam there with the inside, just to extra hiding. And then we're going to take for these guys, the teardrops, and we're going to slide them in between. Now, if when you're doing this, you notice that these are pushing the other guys around, that probably means that you need to squish them a little more so they fit in there without pushing the others out of place. Just going to do that to all of them. Okay, so once you have these guys there, what we're going to do is we're going to grab them, put a layer of glue on the edge there, and then we're going to slide them against the center. We are going to use the pins. We're going to put one pin on this end to hold it against the center, and another pin line up the edge with the red line, and another pin right there. And we're going to do this all around. This will help us make sure that our cross is perfectly aligned. That one you see there, you could see it a little wonky because I hadn't glued anything down yet. So you see, you don't need to use the grid and the corkboard, but it's very helpful, especially if you're just beginning, to get everything lined up nicely. Sometimes you will have some of those pot holders in your kitchen. They are made of corkboard. You can use those, or you have just a board that you put your notes or grocery lists on that is made of cork. You can use that as well. Now, usually I'm right on top of this and I can see exactly where I'm putting the pins, but right now I have a camera in front of me, so I have to move in order to see where I'm placing things. Don't be afraid to move your things around. While you're doing this, you always want to make sure that that center is flat against the rest of the coil, so push it down. So now we're going to slide these teardrops in between the eye shapes there. Same process. These guys, we're going to put a layer of glue on the edge and then a dot of glue on each side. And we're just going to slide them against that. We use the pins to keep them in place. keep pushing everything down so they lay flat against each other. And just repeat the process all around. Make sure you're pushing them all the way against the center. Before you pin it down. Now we're going to start building the cross out from here. Next step, I'm going to be doing the shorter arms of the cross. And those are made with a teardrop, edge to edge, with this eye shape. So to do that, I'm just going to layer some glue on the edge there. Put a pin on the edge so it's touching this guy here. And another pin on this side, just so it is lined up with the red line. And I do the same with all the other three. On the longer arm of the cross, we are going to add 2 other eye shapes to the one that's already there. Line it up with the line. Oops, I totally missed the spot there. Make sure you have it where it's inside the shape, not outside the shape. And finally, we add the last teardrop. Now we're going to add a little more strength to the arms of the cross by placing the eye shapes on each side of the shapes that are already there. And this is where the pins will come in handy, because they will push these guys against each other and make sure they are glued together. So to start, we are going to put a line of glue on one of the sides of this eye shape, and then we'll just place it against the shapes that are already there. Going to do the same on the other side. And now these guys on this side are held already between these two shapes, but on this side they're not. So I'm going to use pins to make sure they stay right there touching that shape. And this is especially important when using the metallic strips because they have a little harder time sticking together. And we're just going to do this all around the cross until we're out of eye shapes. Remember to keep pressing all the shapes down to make sure they're flat. Now on these guys you can put a little bit of glue on the edge there, just so it glues to the one above it. And then you have to let everything dry. Just leave it for 10 minutes. And once that time passed, you can carefully remove all the pins. When you're removing the pins, you want to press the shape down and remove a pin at a time, because sometimes they get caught and the whole coil comes out of the center there, and you don't want that to happen, so you just put your finger in there and remove the pin carefully. And that's it. You have a beautiful golden cross. When everything is dry and you take the pins off, you'll have your little cross, and you can just use a jump ring like these. You open it up, slide it in the coil right there, close it, and you have a cross to hang. I hope you like this tutorial. If you try it, please share the results with me. And take care. Thanks for watching.